Atlanta Pride celebration, it kicks off tonight. That celebration continues to build on our city's rich LGBTQ plus history. The Atlanta History Center's Keenan Research Center has been documenting that for decades. Tonight, they share some of those stories with Atlanta News First, Sawyer Bussey.
Carl Alquist just worked for a computer company, and in 1989, he contracted HIV.
This is an entry from his diary.
Found out today it's definite what we thought. Still can't bring myself to say or write the words.
Carl died at 55. His diary entries are part of Atlanta's LGBTQ plus history, a history that's been documented for decades through photographs, diaries, and letters.
The Keenan Research Center has been collecting materials related to Atlanta's LGBTQ plus communities since 1989. We were the first archival institution in Atlanta to do so.
The collection shows moments of political activism, moments where entertainment and performance took center stage, and many moments of community, when people came together to be unapologetically themselves.
So the materials in this bay illustrate the history of Pride Week in Atlanta that dates back to the early 1970s. And so, for example, we have photographs of the first Pride Parade in Atlanta. There's Black gay pride celebrations.
From publications to photos of house parties and shows to protests, the pieces of the collection make a powerful statement about the resilience of the LGBTQ plus community and the many voices that make up Atlanta's story. In Atlanta, Sawyer Bussey, Atlanta News First.